Okay, greetings, brothers and sisters. I've already in a hole here. I just ate lunch with my wife, and um, I haven't done anything on my videos, my regular videos. There was something so effed up happened at one of the Heartfulness gatherings with Dodgy, and I already have one Journey series video, a bunch of other effed up stuff that happened. That's already up on YouTube. I just have to make it public. And so I didn't get much sleep. I was thinking about it like it was just, so I had to cover it first thing in the morning. And it's just whatever. And so I'm in a hole a little bit here because I'm trying to get two videos done, one on this channel and the other. And I want to do a follow-up to my video yesterday about being awakened versus being woke, entitled, "You're not a patriot, you're a boop. You're a dumb boop," right? So we'll get into that maybe today or tomorrow. I just want to follow up on one particular comment or attitude. But let's start here with JoJo Magoo.
A proud immigrant from the Dominican Republic, 16 years in the force. Like my son, an Iraqi war veteran with the United States military, the United States Army, who described January 6th as something from a medieval battle.
A medieval battle. Now, this is not the first time he said medieval. That's how he pronounces it. But the way he worded the comment, he was talking about this immigrant from the Dominican Republic saying this, but it almost sounded like he was saying his son was saying this. And just, why make it about you and your son? He was an Iraq war veteran. My son was that too. My son, the dead one, not the non-crackhead.
Jonathan Lemire and his colleagues at Politico have new reporting about a cause for optimism in the Biden White House. Let me just say, this makes me very nervous. Democrats should
It's very nervous.
Never be optimistic. But, okay,
Ever.
The installation of some of the most
They should never be optimistic. Democrats should never be optimistic.
controversial House Republicans to several of the most front-facing congressional committees is causing unbridled glee in the West Wing. Hello? No glee allowed.
It's no glee.
Aides say we spoke with decisions, they say decisions like putting Georgia Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene on the House Oversight Committee only make it easier for the White House to paint the opposing party as unhinged. After House Speaker
She wants to be the VP to Trump.
Kevin McCarthy announced the new committee assignments earlier this week, White House staffers sent texts to each other with, don't do this, digital high fives.
Oh, don't do that. Oh, no, don't do that. No, you can't be gleeful and optimistic if you're a Democrat.
It never ends well.
Biden ally they spoke with called it a political gift. And another top Democratic activist said, quote, "This collective group has the credibility of a sentient My Pillow commercial." Well, it may be true, Jonathan Lemire, who's with us now, White House bureau chief at Politico and the host of Way Too Early. Also with us, former chair of the Republican National Committee, Michael Steele, and former aide to the George W. Bush White House and State Department's Elise Jordan. She's an MSNBC political analyst. Jonathan Lemire, no glee. You can't have glee as a Democrat. I've
You
never
can't have glee. Like, just...
heard such a thing.
It is unusual, and perhaps some of those watching right now at the White House will change their tone after we talk about it. But this is how it was received in this past week. It's sort of a political gift for a White House that's had a rocky stretch here last couple of weeks because of the classified documents material.
Okay, so then there was this. This has been up for a while. Maybe this is from, 3-4 days ago, I think.
More classified documents were discovered at President.
He's got to listen to this tone all the time, not just on this show. She has such a naggy tone in her voice.
Joe Biden's Delaware home last week. In a statement on Saturday, the president's personal attorney revealed that FBI agents spent more than 13 hours at the Biden's Wilmington residence on Friday, and their search turned up, quote, 6 items consisting of documents with classification markings. Like the documents previously found, Biden's legal team says the newly discovered files were from his time as vice president. But his attorney also says the new batch included some documents from Biden's time in the Senate, where he served from 1973 to 2009. A Biden administration...
He was just such a tool I mean, what's that? The photograph from 40-year-old virgin? Like, is that the cover to 40-year-old? Like, he's just.
Official and a separate source familiar with the matter tells NBC News that the latest search was prompted by the White House, not the Department of Justice. It's unclear if the new documents were found in the same location as previously unearthed files which were discovered in a room adjacent to Biden's garage.
So, again, let's go ahead and just say what we always say, much different than the Trump documents where they had to go in and
He had them since he was in the Senate. It's much worse in some cases, right? Like, look at her smug face here and just all this stuff. But he was talking about, like, I just covered this. This is why I'm showing you this. He was talking about how everyone underestimates JoJo Magoo, and JoJo Magoo is really a brilliant man who's just playing the role of a doofus, right?
and they had to fight them, negotiate, finally get in. Trump lied, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. George Conway put it this way, kind of funny. I don't understand why the Biden people are voluntarily giving access to investigators instead of stonewalling and lying and screaming witch hunt and calling the investigators Gestapo and bringing frivolous lawsuits against them. And let me just add.
Okay, so it's completely different the way Trump was treated. That Trump wasn't treated like JoJo. JoJo Magoo is getting a pass, as is Hillary Clinton. I'm not a Trump fan and all these things. I'm not a Republican, but, you know. There was a difference here in terms of how Trump was treated. And also, JoJo Magoo knew about this and withheld it from the election, which would have, he'd been landslided. The last two elections, there were bombshell stories, Hunter Biden's laptop and JoJo Magoo's having classified documents that were withheld from the media and the people, not the media, the people, and it affected the outcome. And, you know, and then they want to talk about all these other things and how the Republicans are unhinged. Come on. Let's move on to this. So there are these LOL dolls that come in an egg. I guess they're surprise dolls or something. And now they're featuring lingerie. LOL surprise. Surprise, little sort of softcore porn for your elementary school age girls, right? Again, don't like Kevin McCarthy, don't, care about the Republicans, but like he totally owned this reporter here.
Intel committee. Is Santos on the Intel committee? Am I allowing Schiff to be on other committees? Go right ahead.
Thank you. Because you have direct power over who goes on the Intel committee, you also will be able to raise for your full House, taking off other Democrats, perhaps Representative Omar. But you said that lying to us is something that means you should be removed from the Intel committee. But why is it not a factor?
Well, let me be very.
This is a man who should not be on committee. Something you do have power over.
He's gotten elected by his district. So, okay, let me be very clear and respectful to you. You ask me a question. When I answer it, it's the answer to your question. You don't get to determine whether I answer your question or not, okay? In all respect. Thank you. No, let's answer her question. You just raised a question. I'm going to be very clear with you. The Intel committee is different. You know why? Because what happens in the Intel committee, you don't know. What happens in the Intel committee, although the secrets are going on in the world, other members of Congress don't know. What did Adam Schiff do as the chairman of the Intel committee? What Adam Schiff did, use his power as a chairman and lie to the American public. Even the Inspector General said it. When Devin Nunes put out a memo, he said it was false. When we had a laptop, he used it before an election to be politics and say that it was false and said it was the Russians. When he knew different, when he knew the Intel, if you talk to John Radcliffe.
He's ringing this reporter up.
DNI. He came out ahead of time and says there's no intel to prove that, and he used his position as chairman, knowing he has information the rest of America does not, and lied to the American public. When a whistleblower came forward, he said he did not know the individual, even though his staff had met with him and set it up. So no, he does not have a right to sit on that. But I will not be like Democrats and play politics with these, where they removed Republicans from committees and all committees. So yes, he can serve on a committee, but he will not serve on Intel because it goes to the national security of America. And I will always put them first, all right? And if you want to talk about Swalwell, let's talk about Swalwell, because you have not had the briefing that I had. I had the briefing and Nancy Pelosi had the briefing from the FBI. The FBI never came before this Congress to tell the leadership of this Congress that Eric Swalwell had a problem with a Chinese spy.
Problem means he was banging her.
Until he served on Intel. So it wasn't just us who were concerned about it. The FBI was concerned about putting a member of Congress on the Intel committee that has the rights to see things that others don't because of his knowledge and relationship with a Chinese spy. They brought it to the works of the leaders. I've got that briefing. So I do not believe he should sit on that committee. And I believe there's 200 other Democrats that can serve on that committee. So this has nothing to do with Santos. Santos is not on the Intel committee. But you know what? Those voters elected Schiff, even though he lied. Those voters elected Swalwell, even though he lied to the American public too. So you know what? I'll respect his voters too, and they'll serve on committees. But they will not serve on a place that has national security relevance because integrity matters to me.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. But he just rolled her up, right? This is, there's just so much delusion in the media, the left media. I mean, certainly on Fox as well, but the left media rules, right? Multiple people sent me this about Megyn Kelly covering Hilaria Baldwin, finally, I guess, like I've been covering her. They said that she probably watches my show, and I don't think that's the case. I think that, there's a lot of people covering it, and there's, the jokes write themselves. She's from Boston, Spain. She's a white girl with Anglo background. She doesn't have any Spanish blood. They vacation in Spain. She developed a fake accent. Which made her interesting to Alec. Alec was really attracted to it. She kept it up, got exposed, and now they're, named their kids. I mean, it's a whole game they've played, and they're still bought into it. And now Alex shot a coworker, is going to jail, right? I mean, it's a hilarious story without much embellishment. But here,
to be from Spain, here she is again. Listen to the accent all the way through.
This is her identity. Who are we to say that she can't?
She is as American as we are.
They don't get a lot of cucumbers in Boston. She probably just isn't sure what. She's like, I don't know what this thing is.
No, she's not from Spain.
It's just what took you so long to cover this, right? You waited till Alex got indicted? What's...
They are not okay. Okay? You guys here, you be here, you always here. Ooh, ay, Santa Maria. Okay? Hey, John! It's not okay.
And there's all these people mocking it. Because it's mockable, but she's sticking to her story, and that's the way they're gonna play it.
Hey, mamas, let's talk about the memorable features on the Rezvani Vengeance. I'm body armored, and so is this vehicle. For even more protection, you have explosive underbody shielding, bulletproof glass, electrified door handles.
I'm not really sure what this is, and I didn't want to waste time doing research on it, but it's a half a $1 million vehicle, $495,000 vehicle that this soccer mom is selling as a protective vehicle for the apocalypse.
Military-grade run flat tires and a Ram steel bumper. If anyone's following you, you have blinding lights in the front and the back, or a smoke screen. Plus my favorite, pepper spray. If you're picking your kids up from the mall, let them know you're there with strobe lights and your intercom. Hey, Bobby, it's your mommy.
The fact that they're building this, it might be custom, but I don't know if they're rolling these things out. I'm not going to look into it. But if they are, people are willing to spend $500,000 to ensure they can have a safe ride in the apocalypse.
Your kids will love that it was styled by a video game designer. Vengeance is based on the Cadillac Escalade, so Mama gets heated and ventilated leather seats, a curved OLED display with augmented reality, a digital rearview mirror, which is necessary. Vengeance is only yours, and so is everything in this built-in safe. Parents might need to help their kiddos open the door, but it's a breeze to get in.
A few more things to get to here. Prop gun. Speaks for itself.
The idea The idea that we're going to send in offensive equipment and have planes and tanks and trains going in with American pilots and American crews.
He just said planes and tanks and trains. I didn't notice this the first go round. You're going to build a train rail into a war? Like, yeah, we're going to put a train in there. We're going to send our troops in a train. We're going to build a train.
Just understand, and don't kid yourself, no matter what you all say. That's called World War III.
World War III.
Okay?
I don't know. I think this is from a while ago. Somebody sent me, but it's an oldie and a goodie, or maybe he's done this a second time. And finally, Marjorie Taylor Greene aims to be Trump's VP pick in 2024. So that's happening. That'd be an interesting ticket. I don't think Trump will go for it, but, you know, shoot your shot, Marjorie Taylor Greene. Okay, so I'm going to try to get the voiceover done here today, but maybe not, either that or tomorrow. And then, you know, I'll be posting another video on my other channel, Apocalypse Now, hopefully today. You know, trying out the new format. Only spirituality will save this world. It's Paul Romano, definitely reporting for the Apocalypse and the Ascension. Everyone have a blessed day and be grateful.